With this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare your files for submission. So my file is completely done, it's completely organized, everything is labeled the way it should be. And then I have this saved as final, so my name final, just so I have a copy of the largest version that it is. You don't need to turn in the big copy because that's going to take a long time to load, so we're going to size it just a little smaller. So to do that, I'm going to go up to Image, and I'm going to go to Image Size. Now, I said the resolution needs to be 300 pixels per inch, and the file size should be about 8.5 by 11. Now, if I change this to inches, the file size is 18 by 12. First things first, I'm going to change the resolution. Now, I want to change the resolution without unnaturally adding pixels or unnaturally throwing away pixels. So in order to do that, that's called resampling when that happens. So I need to uncheck resample. Now you see everything is connected. So if I add more pixels to this, Photoshop will squish the image together proportionally so that there's 300 pixels per inch instead of 240. So let me do that. And you can see the width and the height got less. They're squished together, but I have a higher resolution image. So that's okay. I'm going to re-click resample. Now I can change my width and height to fit within that 8.5 by 11 size. So if I make my height 8.5, the width changed proportionally to 12.75. That means this is in proportion to 8.5 by 11, and that's okay. If I were to change my width to 11, the height changes proportionally to 7.33, but the specifications say at least 8.5 by 11, so I want to make sure it is not smaller than 8.5 by 11. So 8.5 by 12.5 is just fine. I'm going to click OK. And it's saving. Okay. Now I'm going to go to File, Save As, because I want to keep that original document for myself. And I have all of my stuff in this folder here. So I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm going to call it Project 2 with my name. Caroline Hodak Solomon is really long, so I'm going to abbreviate it by using my first initials and second last name initials. I'm going to click Create. I'm going to click on that folder so that I save this into it. And then I'm also going to rename this file Project 2 with my name. And it's a Photoshop. It has layers, and it has an embedded color profile, which is great. I'm going to click Save, and maximize compatibility is fine. Okay, so that's the Photoshop file. That is my work file. Now I need to save a JPEG or a TIFF file that I would be giving to my client as well. So again, Image, Image Size. This time, this work file, this print ready file needs to be at a resolution of 150. So I'm going to unclick Resample, change my resolution to 150, re-click resample, and then I say your pixels, or size-wise is in pixels instead of inches, 2000 pixels in the longest dimension. So I find the longest dimension and change it to 2000. I'm going to click OK. Now, by saving this as a JPEG, all my layers will automatically be compressed, but if I want to, I can compress them now. I go up to my hamburger, and I find Flatten Image, and the image will be flattened. Okay, I'm only doing this because I'm saving it as a JPEG, something that I can give my client so that if for some reason they don't have Photoshop, they can view it. So now I'm going to go to File, Save As. I am in that Project 2 folder. I am also going to call it Project 2 with my name. And I am going to change it to a JPEG. All right, and I can click Save. JPEG options, maximum size 12, baseline standard is fine. I'm going to click OK, and there it is. Now, I am going to close this, and I am not going to save it because I've made this file a lot smaller. I do not want to save my Photoshop file because I've already saved them as. Okay. Now I can minimize Photoshop and I can go into my work folder here. So Project 2 CH Solomon is the one I'm going to turn in. I have my work file, I have my JPEG file, but now I need all my original files. Normally for clients you don't need to turn in your original files, but because this is a class and I want to see them, you have to turn them in. So I'm going to make a new folder and I'm going to call it Original Photos. And I'm going to move all my original photos, non-edited, into that. So like this background, I'm going to put in my original photos. My black cat, not black cat isolated, just black cat, I'm going to drag and put it into original photos. This was the one I made. This was the demo I showed you earlier. Then I have my container, not isolated, but rather my container. I'm going to put that in the original photos. My puzzle cat, unaltered, in original photos. And my white cat, unaltered, in original photos. So now I have my original photos with my background, my black cat, my container, my puzzle cat, and my white cat. I have my JPEG of my final submission file, and then I have the Photoshop file with all the layers intact for my final submission as well. Now I can create a zip of this. So I can click on that file, go up to File, Compress, and it will compress this file. It will take less than a minute, but that's okay. Then that is the file that I would turn into Canvas. So there you have it.